Hey guys, welcome back to BatStone. I am Firebat, your host, and I am here joined with. I'm never gonna get that right, am I?
Yeah. Delay. What's up, guys? Hearthstone differently.
Yeah.
This is the first match we had. 5 full games. A lot of interesting decisions that impacted things. I want to mention, I felt like that last game came down to Ness felt like he had to use that second brawl early, and then he didn't have it for N'Zoth. He probably wasn't expecting the N'Zoth. Can't blame him for that. But I want to say if Ness maybe had drawn the Gorehowl earlier, maybe he would have felt more comfortable keeping the board clear that way. He would have randomly had the brawl at the end there for the N'Zoth and able to secure a clean victory that way. But the surprise N'Zoth got him.
The surprise N'Zoth. So Priest was able to actually get a win. Priest is on the board in the BatStone. First game goes to Priest, which I'm excited about. But anyway, let's take a look at the bracket, see what game is coming up next for you guys. I believe it's going to be SuperJJ and Thijs. Yeah, there we go. SuperJJ and Thijs.
Two of the absolute best players in the world right now. Just fantastic players. I'm really looking forward to this. Yeah. Thijs, I think, has had more tournament success recently, but SuperJJ, I think if you pulled pro players, might be argued to be the stronger, more solid technical player.
Sure,
they're both super good.
They're both really, really good. Definitely in the top 5 currently, I'd have to say. And so for classes, we got SuperJJ bringing Shaman, Hunter, Paladin, and Mage, and Thijs bringing Warlock, Warrior, Paladin, and Mage. So a lot of the same classes, a few differences there. We see Thijs actually bringing up the Warlock with a lot of cards for Warlock being banned. Let's go to the card bans list and talk about that briefly.
Reno Lock, right? Did anything get banned from Reno Lock? I mean, I know it's kind of fallen out of favor, but with all these other powerful cards getting banned, maybe it's Reno Lock's time to shine. I think Thijs likes that kind of strategy, right?
Sure, yeah. There is no cards for Reno Lock banned. We can look through here. There's
What about Ragnaros Firelord?
Ragnaros Firelord, okay. I guess that Reno Lock card is banned if you prefer the Rag in your Reno Lock. But other than that, yeah, Reno Lock could be a pretty strong deck. Thijs also bringing Warrior with the Warx currently banned for Warrior. So interesting to see which direction he takes the Warrior. If he goes for the more aggressive Warrior, Dragon Warrior approach, or if he goes for, what Ness did with the Control Warrior approach. Control Warrior didn't end up working out for Ness. And wasn't able to secure that win against.
Well, it only got the one chance, right? Like it went 0-1, whereas Ness's Priest went 1 and 2. So they both had like sort of a similar, more losses than wins by 1 success rate, right?
Sure.
And I felt like the Warrior had pretty good chances to win that game. It just didn't quite come together with the way that the cards were drawn.
Yeah.
So Thijs not bringing Shaman, which is interesting to me. Thijs has what I think is probably a control lineup, right? Warlock, Warrior, Paladin, Mage. I mean, the Mage probably has to be Temple Mage, but I'm thinking it's anything Murloc, Paladin. I'm thinking it's some kind of Control Warrior, and I'm thinking it's Reno Lock.
And then the Mage is just like a control-y Temple Mage, kind of like what Ness probably.
Oh, maybe it's... No, there's no Ice Block. Reno Mage is... It's probably Temple Mage.
It's probably Temple Mage, yeah. That's some sort of crazy Reno Mage. And then
JJ, on the other hand, probably aggro, right? Shaman, maybe that's mid-range. Mid-range is really good and didn't get Doomhammer banned. And then Hunter's always pretty aggressive, right? Especially with Caldwell out of the way.
Yeah. So aggressive Hunter. And then, do you think he's running anything Paladin then if he's got Shaman and Hunter?
Probably. I think probably every Paladin is anything until we see otherwise.
All right. Well, let's get in there and see what's going on with it. I wouldn't be too surprised if he's got aggressive Hunter, aggressive Paladin, aggressive Mage, aggressive Shaman, and just goes the Smork route. I'm always a big fan of the Smork lineups. So,
looking at bans, Thijs banned Paladin from SuperJJ.
Oh, so we won't even get to see it.
Well, but I think that's consistent with Thijs being playing a control lineup, right? Because control lineups do not do well against anything can happen. That big burst at the end is really tough to outlast.
Yeah, and we see Thijs here opening with the anything can happen Paladin, going with the control lineup, like you said, and SuperJJ coming out with the mid-range Shaman. I'm just so baffled that we haven't seen more mid-range Shaman. Like, granted, this is only the first two matches, right? But I thought mid-range Shaman was just going to be a staple deck of the format. It is arguably
we don't
the best
know.
Deck on ladder, and
we actually don't. Okay. Until I saw these cards, I didn't know that JJ was playing mid-range. I actually saw the Feral Spirits, and that's more of an aggro card than a mid-range card. You're more likely to see, you'll see 2 in every aggro deck, and a lot of mid-range Shaman are not playing 2 Feral Spirits. The other cards were just, I think, consistent 2-ups whether you're playing aggro or mid-range. I played 2 Maelstrom Portals in my Shaman, aggro Shaman.
Yeah.
But the Thunderbolt Valiant, that's an indicator. Now we know for sure it's mid-range. And mid-range is generally the expected run, right, with Doomhammer being banned.
Yeah, and all that Aggro Shaman has lost since the Open Qualifier is Doomhammer, and in the Open Qualifier, Shaman had a 63% win rate, being the highest win rate class of the tournament. And the second highest win rate class was Warrior with 53%. So Shaman just blew everybody out of the water, even with the card bans of them having Tuskar Totemic being banned. And now they have Doomhammer banned on top of it. You got to assume it's still going to be a pretty strong class.
A lot of you guys probably don't study the win rates of various decks. So I just want to say Firebat is not being hyperbolic when he's not exaggerating when he says it blew it out of the water. 63% versus 53% is an insane difference in competitive Hearthstone. Like, oh my God, you never see numbers that are that different, right?
Yeah. 63% is like #1 legend win rate. Like that is just absolutely insane. And you shouldn't get #1 legend sort of win rates in a tournament of like high-level tournament players versus high-level tournament players.
Right.
So like that high of a win rate just screams broken to me. So
this is an interesting turn from Thijs, by the way. He placed the Loot Hoarder instead of coining the Acolyte. The coined Acolyte contests that 1/1 Searing Totem, but it's vulnerable to maybe a Flame Tongue or Abusive Sergeant turn. You wouldn't expect that many Abusive Sergeants, because again, we're expecting mid-range. And is Flame Tongue on turn 3 good? Maybe not, because he didn't have a turn 1 to play, right? He didn't have a turn 1 play, so he probably doesn't have Flame Tongue 1-drop.
It's so maybe Coin Acolyte was good. Holding onto the Coin Acolyte. He's definitely must be holding onto the coin for something, right? Like he really
well, now he has Coin True Silver. That's a reward, right?
Yeah, so he's able to, react more defensively on the board. So it's consistent with what the deck's trying to do, right? Survive till turn 10. So it's like, I could be greedy here and use my coin to get extra card draw, or I could hold on to my coin and use my coin to, not die. And
that seems good. Yeah,
that's going to be more profitable for his deck overall, because at the end of the day, the defensive play is better than the greedy play that gets you more cards for this style of deck. So I like Thijs' line there. I think it's kind of an interesting line that not a lot of players would see, but I think it's actually correct.
And totem up from JJ, it's better than it looks because Thing from Below is getting 1 cheaper.
Yeah, what do you think I guess he's got the portal already, so holding onto the Thalnos has a lot of value, and he probably runs Spirit Claws in the deck with the addition of Thalnos there, so holding onto that for more value seems like a good play. And
I'm a strong advocate of 2 of Spirit Claws in every Shaman. Just don't overthink it. That card's good.
That card is really good. Yeah, the new Fiery Winx. Thijs can
actually
take
hero power. Lose the Maelstrom Portal. No, Acolyte.
Acolyte, take it slow. Finally get that out there. Now the Flame Tongue Totem and the Abusive Sergeant don't threaten to trade up with it. Using the Bluegill the following turn to pave way for the Acolyte, he can potentially get more value off of it.
And the 4-mana 7/7 is actually really poor here because of how good Aldor is against it.
Yeah, Aldor just stops it dead in its tracks. And then the following turn, he can do an Equality Consecrate if he wants. Or he could use an Equality this turn if he wants to just kill it and hold on to the Aldor. But I like the
Aldor Bluegill. It's really good. The Bluegill clears the taunt. The Acolyte bumps that Flame Wreath Faceless, draws an extra card. It's sick.
Yep. It's disgusting.
Doesn't get any better.
Really doesn't. Just able to get so much card draw. And he's already got all the answers lined up in his hand, too. He's got the second True Silver ready to go. One of the best cards for Paladin. And then he's got both Equalities already ready to go as well. So he's doing really great things.
Now, Flame Tongue Totem puts that 1/6 to good use.
Oh, yeah, it does.
That's not a bad draw.
And suffering from the overload, he looks like he's going with the Maelstrom Portal here, though. I mean, still, Shaman player able to keep up a lot of pressure. And now it's just trying to figure out.
You got 5 damage and a Firebat out of a 2-mana card. It's pretty good.
Pretty good. It's absolutely insane. And he's got both Thunderbluff Valiant, so if he's able to force out like an Equality Consecrate and then set up the second Thunderbluff Valiant, he's got to be expecting that Thijs isn't going to be able to deal with it super efficiently, and then just value train his way.
I like this. I like this patience from Thijs. He could Equality Conk and full clear, but you know what? He's not in that much danger. He could be a little bit more greedy. He can just True Silver and chill.
Yeah, True Silver, and then he's playing the Doomsayer, which forces SuperJJ to play more cards into the potential AoE. But having the Manatide Totem to be able to invest here is really good for SuperJJ. He's able to, invest a card that is cycling a card, so he doesn't have to worry about running out of hand size issues. So I'd like to see, Flame Tongue, Manatide, and Hero Power this turn.
Roll that Taunt Totem, stop the True Silver.
Yeah.
Misplay.
Unlucky. This is one of those matchups where it's all about the board clears. It's all much like the previous game we just saw between the Priest versus Warrior. All about when you use those board clears, but in this case, instead of brawls, it's Equality Consecrates. The Shaman player is trying to force out the Equality Consecrates, and the Paladin player is trying to walk the line. It's like, if I hold on to Equality Consecrate, will I die? And you got to really walk that line and try and figure out how much damage on the board is too much damage on the board. And it's just an interesting back and forth of the Shaman trying to invest as little as possible without underinvesting, because if you underinvest, then suddenly Tyrion and those sort of things start coming out and causing huge problems. If you overinvest, the board clears kill you, then the Paladin's trying to, read the Shaman player and be like, is this enough on the board for me to get away with the quality consecrating, or do I have to be more patient? And it gets pretty
JJ
crazy.
Does one more.
Yeah.
One key card in this matchup is Bloodlust. If JJ has that in the deck, it makes it way more favorable for him. All of a sudden, any random board of idiots just lethals from no problem. And it becomes very tough for Thijs to win. I feel like this matchup, I don't have a lot of experience on either side, but my guess is the Shaman would generally be favored. But the way this game is panning out, I have to feel like Thijs is the favorite. Like everything was so smooth. Like the way things worked out was great for Thijs. He had a good draw that lined up well against JJ's cards. But I think in general, cards like Flame Tongue and Manatide can be really problematic for the Murloc Paladin to get at when there's taunts in the way like Think From Below and Feral Spirits and the Hero Power Totem.
This is an insane turn for SuperJJ, able to get out this Things From Below to protect his Thunderbluff Valiant from dying from things like
True Silver plus Bluegill.
Or True Silver plus Keeper of Oldman sort of stuff. So yeah, just keeping it protected here, trying to force out another board clear.
Well, we got the War Leader Bluegill combo, but is it relevant here?
It's just not quite enough.
This is the kind of thing. Thijs had such a good start, and he had a quality clear on like an almost full board, and already JJ can repopulate the board with something that's very threatening. Like Thunderbluff Valiant on its own pretty much forces, you got to have something for it, or it's going to get you.
Yeah, exactly. And Thijs only having one equality left has to figure out a way to deal with this board. I am honestly
probably don't deal with it this turn. Probably like Ivory Knight, right?
Don't deal with it this turn, then you need to get something off Ivory Knight or your natural draw to be able to deal with it next turn, right? Because you don't have the activator for equality right now. You don't have the Pyromancer or the second Consecrate. So I'm honestly tempted to do equality this turn so you don't have to rely on top deck and just live till turn 10 is the game plan. Then turn 10, you slam the Anyfin. Anyfin's able to clear enough to keep you alive, and then you hopefully find the other Anyfin by then is the game plan I like. So I like what Thijs is doing here. I like how he's playing this game.
You play the War Leader as well?
I would play the War Leader as well, yeah. You're a little afraid that there's potentially a Hex sitting in SuperJJ's hand and that it could, like, remove your Murlocs or something, but then you just kill him with Tyrion, so you don't really care.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like this line.
Overloaded.
The benefit is setting up for the Anyfin on turn 10. That's the biggest benefit of this line. You cash in on the equality value while you can so that you can set up to be able to use Anyfin on turn 10 without having to worry about clearing the board on turn 10. And you're really sad to see the second Thunderbluff Valiant, but I like where his head was at.
Yep. Thijs has had a really good draw. 3 Murlocs dead already. One War Leader.
If he was patient, he would have been so rewarded because he was able to top deck there the Wild Pyromancer, but it was not in his favor to find it.
Just hit this equality, no big deal. Think it through. Don't snap pick it. That gives it away. You gotta be like, oh man, this is a tough decision.
Okay,
Do
good
I want
call.
Equality or yes? Better think it through. Yep, I'm gonna take that equality, but maybe rope it out first.
Yeah, at least another 3 or 4 more seconds on this. Real tough.
What other 2-mana cards does JJ have to worry about? There's Holy Light.
And that's about it. That's the only other one people really take, right?
Are there any that people don't take that cost 2? Oh, there's the one that discovers the Death Rattle.
Okay, Light in the Darkness. Yeah, we're just going for that. We need the value.
Sometimes you get really bad discovers, and you got it like it's like 2 terrible secrets, right?
Yeah, they're in a call with each other, so they can see each other's faces too. So you see Thijs there, kind of making like wincings, like, "Oh crap, I got to take this Holy Light. This isn't good." And
poker face, good stuff.
And goes for the equality.
Well, Azure Drake's pretty good with that Ferals, with the Spirit Claws. Do we need to commit more stuff to the board?
18 damage for SuperJJ with Azure Drake plus Hero Power plus Spirit Claws. So he's got 9 mana because he's only overloaded for 1.
3 off lethal.
If he's able to
if he had a Lightning Bolt or a Rock Biter, it was just
off the Azure Drake. So there's 4 top decks potentially for SuperJJ to get lethal here with Azure Drake. So I would like to see him go for it. I think
probably has less than 4 of those in his deck.
You don't think he runs double Lightning Bolt, double Biter?
A lot of times I think they run less than that. A lot of times it's more like just 2 Biter, no Lightning Bolt, something like that.
All right. Well, he feels like he doesn't want to go for lethal here. He saw his board stick around last turn. He just wants to get as strong of a board presence as possible, so we see him go for that route instead. Figures, he'll probably have lethal around for him next turn. So the Murlocs, Anyfin will bring back a War Leader and 2 Murlocs. Oh my gosh. I think it's a Pyro Equality heal time, and then you set up to just use the double Murlocs to start clear in the next turn.
Now, it's worth mentioning, Thijs' hand is starting to run low on stuff. He Pyro Quality heals this turn. He makes Murlocs the turn after. The turn after that, he might not have anything too good going on. He'll probably have something good, but there's some risk.
Yeah.
I don't play that much Anyfin Paladin, but it feels like Thijs' draw has been pretty insane this game. Like, he's got 3 Murlocs going. This is his third equality clear?
This is like, the third equality clear.
Yeah, he had equality conk, and then equality plus random stuff, and here's the pyro equality.
Yeah, the equality pyro forbidden
nice
healing.
Sequencing here. You equality, then pyro forbidden healing. That way you see the 3-1 pyromancer strictly better than doing the autopilot pyro equality.
Yeah, always take time to think about your decisions. That's how you win the European Championship twice.
Oh my god.
And now SuperJJ can expand on the board like reasonably unafraid of things because you've seen both equality clears. And I mean all three equality clears.
There's probably not a fourth, right?
That's probably one of the logic behind the giant board expansion last year. It was like, yeah, he doesn't have equality left. Just flood the board and win.
Yeah.
So, and these Frost Wolves put a really big damper on these Bluegill Warriors days.
I mean,
Thijs can remove 4 damage from the board. I guess he can remove
clear
5,
right? Just put 2 from below, I guess.
Ugh.
Is Thijs seriously going to lose this game after this good of a draw? If Thijs can lose this game, it has to be Super Shaman favored, right?
That's what I said. Shaman's win rate is ridiculous, even with the card bans. Like, Shaman,
well, that was like in general, like across the board. We're talking about this particular matchup.
Okay, yeah, I mean,
still ridiculous.
It's still ridiculous how strong Shaman looks. It's just absolutely insane. Like, Shaman's a deck that has so many good cards in its class that it doesn't matter if you take away 1 or 2 because they can run 30 class cards and have a good deck. It's just individually, all of its cards are just better than almost every other class's cards. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Spell Power Totem for the 3 damage. Oh, I guess he's got to go with the Storm. He can't get the free 1-drop then.
Unlucky.
Wow.
I rolled that 3-4, no big deal. Oh, the Tyrion's pretty good.
There's no Hex in the hand currently, but we haven't seen SuperJJ draw a Hex yet the entire game.
So he's probably drawn to 2 of them, like almost certainly.
Yeah. He's got over half his deck gone through, so oddsmen finding it are pretty good.
Right, but, that's a good pickup. It goes with Tyrion, right?
Yeah, that is the play. You get that Tyrion down there, and then that protects your Doomsayer. So you're able to heal for a lot of health this turn, or potentially clear the board.
Potentially die.
Yeah, is he dead? 3.
I can't see his mana. It's a bit blurry.
He's at 8 mana.
Okay.
So using Fire Elemental and the Portal. The Portal does 2. 2 isn't really great, but yeah, I think it's lethal.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
It's lethal a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's lethal like 6 different ways. So we see the Shaman come out, and it appeared behind in the beginning and just absolutely crushed. And not a lot of players identified that Shaman was going to be this strong. We only have 4 players. 50% of the tournament field is bringing Shaman.
I wonder if some people chose to not bring it just because they didn't want to. They wanted to Hearthstone differently, and Shaman is not new or exciting at this point, right?
Yeah, in the spirit of the tournament. Yeah.
Yeah, but then if that's your line of reasoning, you're probably banning Shaman every time you see it, right? It's a little bit weird to not bring it and not ban it.
I think we're going to dramatically see the amount of Shaman bans go up as we get further in the tournament. Like, people are going to start realizing, well, we should probably ban that because we see this game.
Like a good class.
This game, neither player banned Shaman. I mean, like, SuperJJ was the only one of the 2 players that brought Shaman, and it's able to just skate through. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the game goes as we get in there. SuperJJ still has his Hunter and his Mage remaining. His Paladin was banned. So I believe Thijs thinks that Paladin is the strongest deck in this format, right? He bans it and brings it.
Yep.
Feeds with it. So
it's like anything lost nothing. It's the best. Well, it turns out losing one thing doesn't change everything. It doesn't turn everything on its head, right? It's just one thing, and Shaman has a lot of good pieces. A lot of them.
Yeah, and we do see it looks like a Dragon Luck? Or
Sick.
Dragon Luck?
I've been seeing some people streaming this lately, yeah.
Okay.
Some Dragon Reno luck. Good times. I don't know if it's Reno or not. Maybe it's not actually.
Yeah, it's
More I
Soulfire.
think about this, but like Dogbot brought Dragon Arena Lock to a recent tournament.
Okay, so it's a real deck. It's out there.
Well, I know that's not what I said.
Alright. How do you think it does against Tempo Mage?
Bad.
Bad? Yeah, not enough healing.
Probably
Huh?
bad.
No
Well, I
healing?
mean, Mortal Coil and Hellfire is good. Yeah, Mortal Coil and Hellfire. This is a good start for him. So there's hope. But I feel like there's a lot of burn in Temple Mage and not a lot of heal in this deck.
Yeah,
Argus.
Taunts, at least a little bit, but I mean, by that Mage goes over the taunts. Like, you got to get control of the board early. If you don't get, if they get a bunch of damage in before you can start taunting, that's when those fireballs, those frostballs, that sort of stuff is just going to be able to kill you way too efficiently over the top. So these turns are super important for Thijs. He was fortunate enough to have, you know, the Mortal Coil to stop that book from getting in there for a bunch of, and even just 1 or 2 chip damage, it adds up really quick to get you in range of where you need to start healing.
Kind of like this Elven Archer. Like imagine a Flame Waker comes down next turn.
Okay.
Maybe you could Hellfire and then Elven Archer the following turn or something. No, that's not a real thing. I don't know.
I don't know.
Flame Waker's not coming down.
There's no way they're playing Flame Waker and trading the 3/2.
They're killing this 2/2 with the spell is what they're doing.
Yeah, every time. You got to imagine he's going to ping face and then Forbidden Flame the 2/2 with the spell power to get that 2 damage in there. Or
so
develop
if we
the
Sorcerer's Apprentice and Forbidden Flame, it deals 2, right?
Yep.
And then we get kind of wrecked by Coin Hellfire.
You do get wrecked by Coin Hellfire, but do you feel bad about it?
I think it's a risk you take as JJ.
Yeah, like as
Tempo
Tempo Mage,
about it happening, but you take the risk. You got to go for it, right? Like,
do you have to go for it?
you,
I was on board with just the ping. I don't think it's
really?
terrible to keep 1 minion out there pressuring. Like how?
one's enough, huh?
Yeah, that was kind of my logic there. I mean, I'm on board with taking the risk. I think it's a worthwhile risk. Your opponent runs 1 Hellfire potentially if they're a Reno variant, 2 if they're not. Odds of them having it still in your favor that they don't have it. So you
I don't know if
the
one's
risk.
enough because like next turn there's like Twilight Drake, Twilight Guardian. That's
Infinite
more than
boss.
just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So maybe you just need the pressure to be able to get it through. But he hasn't seen the Dragon package yet, has he? So he doesn't know about Twilight Guardian being a threat yet.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty in the dark.
Yeah, he's got no idea what's going on here. He's assuming, you know, Reno Lock, Control, Warlock. It
like
could be
this.
anything. But yeah,
It's tough to kill that Flame Waker.
for sure. Aside
Not
from
that
like
many Shadow
one
Bolts
of
in the
Shadow
world.
Bolt, yeah.
Wow, this turn feels super bad for Thijs, not having that Twilight Drake to play. Unlucky.
Yeah. And we see double Ezra Drake, so it doesn't look like it's a Reno variant. So if JJ is able to get enough chip damage in, he is going to be able to kill Thijs over the top, almost certainly. So
Yeah. Honestly, Temple Mage has so much burn, it can often like kill you even if you do Reno in a game.
holy
Maybe not
smokes.
often, but sometimes. Like, I don't know about in this matchup, but like the deck has a lot of burn.
Second Hellfire. I bet you he was wishing he had that Elven Archer now. But the Twilight Drake's really good here. He's playing off curve, but it's just because he needs to react to the board immediately. And the Ezra Drake draws you a card for its extra mana cost, while as the Twilight Drake is able to just present more of a threat on the board, being a 4/8 instead of a 4/4. And interestingly enough, SuperJJ going to clear it to protect his Flame Waker.
I like it. Couldn't deal with the Flame Waker last turn.
Sure.
Just gonna
Yeah.
keep getting value.
You think he missiles the? Yeah, he's missile in the face, setting up lethal with the Firelands Portal, right? Almost getting close.
That's a
there.
lot, man. Better have that Reno.
Yeah.
We know he doesn't. 2 Azure Drakes, there's no way.
He needs Reno this turn, and we can almost assume he doesn't play it in the deck.
Yeah.
As there's so many 2-ofs. We see 2 of Hellfire, 2 of Azure Drake. He does not reveal any of the 2-ofs right now, so he does have to still win with this deck. So he
JJ's
needs
aggression.
to kind of keep JJ in the dark a little bit about what's going on with it. But JJ able to take a quick win here with a very aggressive Tempo Mage deck. Unlike Ness's Tempo Mage, which was a little bit more of the slow, control-y variant, Super JJ goes with the I'm going to get Mana Worm and kill you deck. So
Yeah. Aggression's paying off.
yeah,
So
it's-
we're trying to Hearthstone differently, but maybe it's not as different as we had hoped.
yeah, it turns out aggro is still pretty good. Pretty good. We banned a lot of cards from a lot of classes.
We don't have to be 100% sold yet, but
I mean, it is only round 1. Aggro may be defeated later on, but for now, it's doing pretty good. And now Super JJ has only the Hunter remaining, which we saw in the previous series, a Hunter like archetype being played without Call of the Wild. We saw Tides of Time bring, you know, a faster Hunter archetype. It still had, you know, like Tundra Rhino and some slower cards in there, but
yeah, let's get into the next game. Or
yeah, we're just waiting for the players to get ready, and then we'll be jumping right in there. And there we are. So there's the Hunter deck.
Hunter vs. Warrior was Hunter favored when they had Call of the Wild. What about when they have Snipe?
Double Snipe. Okay. I mean, what is he predicting that's in the meta for this double Snipe?
More Rogue.
Okay. It'll definitely eat up some rogues for sure.
How good is it against any Finn Paladin? It's fairly decent against the Paladin minions, right?
They run the 6-mana 4/4, so they have a lot of.
Yeah, and just killing like a Murloc War Leader is fine. It's okay against Doomsayer. It gets you part of the way there.
It stops Pyro equality.
Yeah, that's sick, right?
Yeah,
it's bad against Bluegill, but it's not that bad.
And Thijs bringing the Dragon Warrior with Fiery Warx nerfed, taking an early game 50-50. Oh, is able to win the 50-50, is not screwed over by the Firebat.
But the Grandma's here to recover, play a little bit of cleanup. It's not rolled over.
Yeah, gonna be sticking around, so at least SuperJJ is gonna have something to clean up this inevitable frothing berserker that comes down for Thijs.
Yeah. So frothing and Smork, or yeah, we just what else?
Yeah. No reason to take that trade for him. You got to get that damage in there. It is a race at the end of the day.
Giving the trade sort of gives charge to the 3/2 in addition to missing 3 damage. Just full disaster.
Exactly. Well, this is awkward. Maybe SuperJJ responds with a Smork? Okay, coins the Firebat, takes the trade. So the Frothing Berserker is going to be able to, eat up that niche if it wants to.
No, I think we're Slam executing. Unless we draw something, right? Slam execute looks pretty good. Is there any chance we Finley for like a ping? No, because in the case where we hit a ping, we probably want to cycle the Slam, right?
I do like cycling the Slam. We could say that as a resource because we have 2 Azure Drakes, right? Like we have a lot of card draw and a lot of value in our hands, so maybe we want to be slamming a 3/2 later on. So I don't think it's totally unreasonable to go for the ping.
Right. Is there anything the Slam can hit that we would play? Like there's no War Axe.
Yeah, there's no War Axe. There's no, like we're not going to be playing Fairy Dragon. You're not going to be playing Alex Strauss's Champion with the Slam.
We're trying to figure out it's a question of whether you play Finley first or Slam first, in case that wasn't clear.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
I think it's fine either way. I don't think it's too much of a difference. I like Finley first a little bit better, maybe, but I don't know. You could tell me on either, probably.
Probably go with Druid Hero Power, something that influences the board
presence.
Yeah, Thijs agrees. Like Hunter is very tempting, but especially while you're frothing them.
You don't need Steady Shot against Hunter as much now that they don't have Call of the Wild. You don't need that that burst damage to finish out the game.
It's a lot of discipline by Thijs there. Taking that trade with the frothing instead of jamming it to the face plays around things like a Leok being rolled, Abusive Sergeant, Direwolf Alpha being played. So yeah, I like the trade from the frothing. I think it's really heads-up play. I would have been way more tempted to start jamming that guy face. That's a lot of damage.
Missed 5 damage, SM work. Good discipline though.
It's real good play, yeah, for sure. SuperJJ's in a lot more of an awkward position here. Unable to.
God, you could abusive your Firebat into that Finley, right? And just win the 50-50.
Oh, it doesn't even need to have to with the
Huffer. A little more consistent.
Now the question is, do you want to trade with the Huffer or do you want to just Smork for 6? Oh, he is. He's going for the roll. He's chancing it. That was for 2, never lucky. That was really a greedy chance there. Interesting.
He didn't like his spot.
He felt like he needed to take the risk. I don't know if he needed to take the risk, and he is going to get whaled for 10.
Yeah, that's
Pyroblast to the face for the punish.
Yeah, he's had enough of that.
Yeah, he doesn't want to reveal more cards in his Hunter deck. Going to try and conceal some of these secrets, for example, as his hand slowly devolves to all secrets. The odds of him winning that game, very low at that stage. So instead of playing out the secrets, trying to fight for a chance to win the game, he's just going to say, all right, you got me this game. I'm going to conceal the information. I have to play this deck again, and maybe I'll get you with the secrets on the next game. So players will be setting up for that.
I got to say, I really like JJ's chances. Like having Hunter against Reno Lock, that feels, or not Reno Lock, but Dragon Lock. He doesn't know that, does he?
He's seen he didn't see the double drag. He saw Bookworm, but he didn't see any doubles. He could still be afraid of the Reno. Like I
would be afraid of the Reno.
Yeah.
I mean, you might not respect it, but I'd be afraid.
Yeah, it'll be interesting as we get into the game here to see if there is a Reno or, well, we pretty much know there's not a Reno, but it'd be interesting to see how long Thijs is going to prioritize bluffing that, right? Like purposely not taking like the second best play to not play 2 of, so he can try and, you know, hide the fact that he might have Reno so that SuperJJ doesn't go like all in. I think there could be a lot of cute plays and mind games involved around that, so that's something to watch out for. But we are going to start off with Thijs with the Paladin.
I really like this Loot Hoarder against Hunter. It doesn't do well against kind of like Grandma, but it does well against a variety of 2-mana 3/2s, and trading with the Firebat's fine.
Sure, yeah, not a bad card to have. I like even the True Silver as well, and the other 2 cards that say you pitch them. You look to try and go Loot Hoarder on 2 and to coin True Silver on 3, I think is the curve you want. Answer that Animal Companion efficiently. That's always the biggest fear in the early game is an Animal Companion sticks and starts snowballing like crazy.
Yep. Pretty good opening hands for both players. Everyone has a early game plan that's about as good as their deck can offer. Maybe Thijs would like to see a Doomsayer.
Yeah.
Well, this Squire makes the Loot Hoarder look a lot worse.
Yeah, but SuperJJ is leading off of the Firebat, not playing around the potential for a Loot Hoarder.
That's totally reasonable, right? It attacks for more.
Yeah, just base harder. Who wins this matchup while Call of the Wild is banned?
I still think Hunter.
You still think Hunter? Even they don't even need Call of the Wild to win this matchup, you think?
The thing is, like, Paladin AoE board clears just aren't that good against Hunter, because Hunter can do a lot of damage with not that many minions.
Sure. Yeah, that's reasonable, especially with the hero power.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the big assumptions a lot of these players had in this format, right? A lot of players were like, yeah, anything Paladin's going to be so good because its biggest nemesis, Hunter, is completely out of the format. And then we see here already, game 1, there's a Hunter, game 2, there's a Hunter. And it looks like they're both maybe farming this Anyfin Paladin that everyone thought was going to be insane because of the Call of the Wild ban. I guess Hunter doesn't even need Call of the Wild that badly.
I mean, it is an 8-mana card. Like, there's a lot of Hearthstone that happens before turn 8. I think Hunter does need Call of the Wild that badly, but everyone lost something, so, like...
Yeah, that's fair. As SuperJJ here, are you tempted to maybe quick shot the Loot Hoarder, or is that just... Does that feel too bad?
It's one of those things where I'm definitely not... Tempted is not the word I would use. It's the kind of thing I would do and feel depressed about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think you might have to do it.
Man, that feels bad.
Oh, he's just going to go with the secret instead.
He's like, this is a snake trap. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, there you go. Bluff the snakes. He saves that. He's saving the quick shot to be able to cycle it, right? Next turn, you know, he's getting pretty close to being able to cycle it.
Hand's almost empty. Makes sense. It won't be next turn because he's drawing a card, but
yeah,
maybe turn 5.
After, maybe, yeah. We don't know exactly the curve he's playing. He might not be going to high mains, and then his quick shot just has to cycle, basically.
So there's that Loot Hoarder doing work as called on the mulligan, right? Trading into a 3/2 and drawing a card. Sick.
It's absolutely disgusting. And definitely just from Thijs here playing on curve, getting that body out there to help contest the board.
Yep. Threatening a bluegill. Ooh, these secret draws from JJ feels bad. Yeah, but even if he loses this, he's still a favorite to win against that Warlock, the Dragon Warlock.
Yeah, he may have just been able to target out a matchup just enough that, you know, if he's able to go up against more people with control Warlocks, just single out that matchup and win every time. Feels
like that Ragnar's Lightlord almost seals the game in Thijs' favor.
Well,
it's a disaster of a start for JJ, and that's a really good finisher. Just the best.
He's got to get to turn 8, though.
He's got to get to turn 8, but yeah. I'm looking at things, and I'm liking his chances, right? He's got True Silver on 4, Ivory Knight on 6.
Yeah, JJ really needed a bow with this hand. Like, just string along this damage together, because infinite bow charges with all these traps slowing down the game is usually how this style of Hunter really gets a win. We saw Tides of Time in the first game playing just more of a, you know, minion-based Hunter, and now we see SuperJJ going with the trap-based Hunter. So interesting. 2 archetypes of Hunter existing with the card bans with Call of the Wild gone now.
Yeah, I like the Cloaked Huntress. It's kind of a shame to see JJ keep drawing the secrets and not the Huntress. I'd like to see the deck doing what it's designed to do. Yeah. How do you feel about this bluegill? I kind of thought I was playing True Silver and just not attacking with it, but this sort of contests the board better, but doesn't set up for future turns as well.
Yeah, I'm not really too big of a fan of the bluegill. I would have, you know, True Silvered as well. I would have even been tempted to swing with the True Silver, as you got another one in your hand anyway.
Right. If you swing the True Silver on 4, then you swing with it on 5 and equip another one on 5. Then you can play the Ivory Knight on 6 while swinging with the turn 5 True Silver.
Yeah, that was my train of play.
Heal to try and just live till Light Lord on 8.
Exactly, that's what I want to do. Just get all 4 healing out of both True Silvers. As awkward as that sounds, just swinging at stuff with True Silvers to stay alive. But,
so this is kind of what I was talking about. The strength of the Murloc Paladin, these Pyro quality turns, it just doesn't quite work against Hunter boards with the high mains and the
cat trick.
Yeah, there's problems.
The grandmother, the fact that they're killing you with just like 1/1s,
stupid 1/1s,
and Thijs is under fire right now. He's feeling the pressure, and it's not a good thing.
Realistically, I think he's weathering this pressure. True Silver to Ivory to Knight the Rag, it's probably going to work out.
SuperJJ does have a little bit of burst of extra firepower at the end. He's got the quick shot that's going to draw a card, you know?
Sure, it's true. Game's not over.
Yeah.
Playing this War Leader, that feels bad. We're trading our 5 mana 3/3s are actually not that good, despite what you might have heard about Grim Patron. Like,
where's this True Silver going?
Just thinking about killing that 3/2, clears the Beast, makes Kill Command and Houndmaster less threatening. We know they're not in the hand yet. Well, we know Houndmaster's not in the hand, but top decks happen.
Sure, yeah. Just getting the board under control. I like it. Get the death rattles out of the way. Ooh, Kill Command.
Yep, played around that, right?
Yeah, and now we have the Snipe coming down exactly on turn 6. And you want Snipe coming down on turn 6 against anything that Paladin, because there's a card called Ivory Knight, which is a 6 mana 4/4 that Snipe perfectly kills. So now,
pew, pew.
I imagine Thijs is still going to be playing the Ivory Knight here. You want to play it when you can, like when you have time to, and there's no pressure on the board. And oh my god,
we don't care about the Murlocs. We do care about 10 life.
Yeah, holy smokes, that could spell disaster for SuperJJ. He was in a spot where he had a potential to take it there. He had 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage coming the following turn, and then could have potentially closed it out the turn after, but doesn't look like he's going to be able to get there. That is a lot of help.
True Silver.
Oh, there we go.
Bows. I mean, better late than never.
Yeah, get it going. But can he beat an extra 8?
17's a big number. That rag's coming down soon.
Well, even after the rag comes down, he can take 50-50 shots at it, like deal 1 damage to the rag, and then...
But can he deal 1 to the rag? He's probably dealing 3 to it.
Yeah. So it's going to heal for 11 then, in that case, and then he's going to have to top deck the burn after. Otherwise, he's going to have to sink another 3 damage into it, and that chain just keeps continuing. It's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough. Card was drawn. Okay, launches Kill Command. Empty his hand for the quick shot. Able to get in there. I think
already down to 10. That Ivory Knight heal was a big deal.
Yeah. If that Ivory Knight didn't heal for 10, this would be a lot more awkward for Thijs. He would have whatever the Ivory Knight healed for right here as his life total. Instead of...
Although his War Leader's got damage on it.
Yeah, good heal the War Leader. Oh.
JJ made a nice face with that too.
Yeah, I mean, it still has the ability to heal the War Leader at this moment. So SuperJJ could still get away with this if he wins these Ragnaros flips, especially with that Kill Command being drawn here.
Wow.
Like going in for the bow.
You gotta root for JJ in this spot, right? Like,
he's so close. Oh, the Ultimate can guarantee the heal. That's got to be it right there. All Thijs has to do is Ultimate his War Leader and then pass for the rest of the game.
Just trying to proc an explosive trap, a freezing trap, anything. Just get this thing out of here. Although if you proc an explosive, you can attack for 8 with your Rag Light Lord and then ultimate down to a 3/3 so that it heals your face.
So he knows that there is a cat trick now, right? It could be a dart trap potentially. These sort of things.
Let's not risk it.
Yeah, I don't think you want to risk the dart trap, so I don't think you hero power. I think you just ultimate your 3/3 and pass. And I guess swing with the True Silver, equip another True Silver. Set up lethal, maximize health gain.
Did we talk about it? I feel like there was probably a way for Thijs to set this up so that the Rag was a guaranteed heal.
He did.
No, the rag was a 50-50 heal on 8. I'm talking about the previous turn.
Yeah. If he had like not extended the Murlocs the turn before, potentially he wouldn't have had to rely on winning that 50-50 there. So there was like ways he could have cleared the board without extending Murlocs onto the field that were then damaged, so that he wouldn't have to rely on a 50-50 flip. So a slight misplay there by Thijs on turn 7. Otherwise he wouldn't have had to rely on that 50-50. But fortunately enough for him, he's able to win that 50-50. He's able to take the game. He was in a seemed favored and dominant position the whole game. I'm not sure if the cut from Call of the Wild makes that matchup as bad as it looks, because we saw a pretty underwhelming draw for SuperJJ and a pretty good draw for Thijs, but it definitely hurts it, right?
Yep. So going to game 5 again.
Is it game 5? Wasn't that the first match? It's game 5. Okay, yeah, sure.
It's been quick ones. We've had some aggro games instead of all control mirrors.
SuperJJ's been going hard with the aggro, so yeah, it makes it seem like Chalky's playing. Anyway, game 5, we have SuperJJ with the Hunter up against the Dragon Warlock for Thijs. Oh my god,
Secret Keeper.
Wow. That is
what a high variance Hunter deck this is.
Yeah, this Hunter deck, it either works or it works really, really good, or it does absolutely nothing, huh? And okay, if Thijs is able to string along a Dragon here, he's got a really solid hand for being able to deal with some things. The Hellfire,
something like freezing traps, really good against Thijs' hand.
Oh yeah, shuts down the Imp Gang boss and buffs the Secret Keeper. It'd be absolutely insane. But SuperJJ drawing back-to-back kill commands this early in the game is not great for his deck.
But he's got the turn 1 and 2, so like, even though they're both one-attack minions, they've got potential to be much more than that. And he's developing while Thijs isn't. So
yeah, Thijs is just hitting himself in the face right now.
Well, there's the Huntress. Just where's the secrets?
If he's able to top deck Freezing Trap, it's going to be absolutely insane. He gets to develop a 3/4, get +1/+1 on his Secret Keeper, and stop the Imp Gang boss dead in its tracks all at once.
Wow.
And no, not quite that cool. But he can flood the board with a lot of minions.
So do we kill command this Imp Gang boss, trade our Grandma in, or maybe we trade the Secret Keeper to be resilient against the Hellfire turn?
Oh, it feels so defensive.
Maybe.
If we run Unleash, we have a whole bunch of traps that can then interact with his minion that's on the board, right? Like explosives and whatnot. I am not opposed to, just Huntress and all face sort of line. That's because you're resilient to Hellfire that way, right? You have 2 minions that your opponent needs to kill for Hellfire to really work.
Sure.
So you're going to get some damage through Hellfire, and you just push a lot more pressure that way. I don't think you want to be kill commanding. I think that's the only way you lose, is start throwing burn at minions and trying to play like the board control value game against a Dragon Warlock. They have the best hero power for value in the game, and they're running the best minion set for value in the game in Dragons. So you're not going to outvalue them. So
but they just can't stop that steady shot if you just push the damage. Makes a lot of sense. I like what you're thinking there.
Yeah, you just need to get the damage in now, and then you have the 15 in your hand. Double kill command, quick shot hero power to get him done. If you just figure out some way to get 10 more. So for example, if they're Hellfiring to clear this board, they're taking another 6 on top of that. So then now you're just looking at trying to find 8 more damage somehow, 4 steady shots, you win the game.
Sounds doable.
Yeah. And he's already got the beast to activate the kill commands as well, so he's able to set all of that up if he holds on to Firebat.
He's going for Soulfire. This way he's only taking 1 next turn instead of 3, and he's not taking a 3 from Hellfire. Might never Hellfire the way this board looks, right?
Yeah, this is definitely the best play that turn for sure from Thijs. They're able to control the board while taking the minimum amount of damage possible. Really like it.
Any Huffers?
Huffer would be huge.
If you attack first, you're not playing Animal Companion because it means you're not rolling Leok.
Yeah, I'm kind of favoring Animal Companion plus coin hero power.
Because if you don't Companion now, it's just getting worse later, right? Oh, never Huffer. Unlucky.
All the companions are pretty good at this point. Like even this Misha here slows down your opponent. You could trade into the 1/1 if you wanted to play around Blackwing Corruptor from a Dragon deck. Blackwing Corruptor is usually pretty expected. And then the question is if you want to Firebat or if you want to coin the hero power. It goes with the Firebat.
I like the Firebat. It's consistent with the Misha. Now this Blackwing Corruptor is really strong.
Yeah, JJ takes the risk for Blackwing Corruptor. He maybe still thinks it's a Reno deck, but we did see 2 Imp Gang bosses played, so you have to kind of.
I think he saw 2 Hellfires in the first game, maybe.
Yeah, so I don't know. Risking against Blackwing Corruptor on 5 is pretty scary, but it's not like that crazy of a risk to take. But he is going to get slightly punished for it, as Thijs is able to maintain these Imp Gang bosses on the board and clear off minions. But
yeah, this is the kind of game where Thijs could win.
Yeah, it definitely is. But
he's got that pressure going. He might be able to clock them fast enough.
Unleash the Hounds?
That's going to be strong against these Imp Gang bosses, yeah.
Yeah,
and you have to think he's playing it, right? Especially in the Shaman format.
Yeah, you expect Shamans to be out there, and Unleash the Hounds is just such a great aggro card. Typically, the board for Warlock, for the control Warlock variants, is never super vulnerable to Unleash the Hounds. So it's kind of funny that we see that instance pop up, and he's cashing in on one of the kill commands now, just going in deep. Knows that there's most likely no Reno, as duplicates have been seen, so he feels pretty comfortable just going in like this, making like the only heal cards being Earthen Ring Farseers and Refreshment Vendors available.
Yep. This explosive trap's gonna really help him win the race. It was a big pickup for JJ. All of JJ's cards are pretty well contributed to this plan of just, I'm just gonna push face damage. I'm a face hunter.
Yeah, he's got 12 damage in the hand, right? He's got 5, 8, 9, 10 from the explosive trap, and then you get the extra 2 from the hero power. So he's got 2 more turns after this to be able to shut down Thijs, and Thijs has to figure out some way that he's able to kill his opponent fast enough. But
well, this is 11.
Yeah, the explosive trap shuts down 4 damage here, so that leaves him with 12.
He did have a lethal setup if it weren't for this explosive trap.
Wow, he's got the Peddler to fish for either Power Overwhelming or Soulfire for the lethal.
Power Overwhelming does more damage than Soulfire because it gets a 2/2 to connect, right?
Yeah, you can either get the Imp Gang boss or the Abusive Sergeant to connect. Malagos isn't going to do it. So now he's got to recognize if he doesn't find a lethal, he's dead. So he's got to go in for the lethal here. So yeah, at 9 health, the bow's been procced. He knows he needs that lethal. He's got 15 on the board. He can either tap for lethal if he thinks his odds are higher that way, or go for the Dark Peddler. And the Dark Peddler is higher odds, so you see him go with the Dark Peddler here, and he gets Stone Touch 4, and it's just not enough. He's got 5, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16 damage. He is 1 damage off lethal.
Never lucky. So now he's thinking, I'm going to have lethal set up for the next turn no matter what I do, so I just want to make the most defensive play I can, which is nothing.
Can he tap into Soulfire? 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. He can tap into the second Soulfire if he runs it, or Power Overwhelming if he runs it with the Stone Tusk board pickup. So he's got the life
2 Soulfires.
He would have to run 2 Soulfires, which is usually unlikely in these kind of Warlock decks, but he could be there.
I think I've been seeing it the last time I've seen this kind of list.
Does he feel like he can survive, or does he feel like he needs to go for the tap?
He's probably going to try and survive 4 damage rather than tap for Soulfire.
He thinks he can. He thinks SuperJJ just doesn't have 4 damage, and bad news for Thijs. SuperJJ does have the 4 damage, so 3rd time's the charm for this aggressive hunter deck featuring secrets. SuperJJ able to take this over Thijs, knocking Thijs out of the tournament and advancing to the 2nd round to meet Tides of Time.
So, kind of the expected result. It took a while for that hunter to get a win, but it got there eventually. It never really drew well.
No, it was.
He had the Secret Keeper and the Huntress and the Secrets, and he kept drawing just the Secret Keeper Huntress or the Secrets, but never a good mix.
And it seems like a sort of deck that's very inconsistent, and we saw the definite inconsistent side, like you said. But when all that stuff comes together, though, we saw in the moment where you had the Secret Keeper on the field, and turn 3 he could have played the Huntress, and if he had a secret with that, it's just whoa, sort of just crazy strong. But he just wasn't able to make all of that come together. But he was able to take the victory. Interesting 200s advance without Call the Wild.
Heck yeah.
It's kind of interesting how the bands sort of worked out in that favor. Let's show the bracket so we can see what's coming up for next. I believe it's Chalky versus Kalento in the next match, so that should be a pretty interesting one to see. One of the best players currently from North America, having some great tournament performance, Chalky, and then you got Kalento, a player that hasn't been competing in too many recent tournaments, but
God Lento, right?
God Lento is his name, basically. He's been He's been done very, very well in the past. So it's going to be crazy to see what they've come up with. Kalento usually brings some kind of wacky decks to these sort of things. And Chalky's no slouch either. DreamHack Austin, he brought Priest and was able to win in a new meta with Priest. So he's definitely a player to look out for in sort of new metas. So I'm really excited to see that matchup. We'll get right to that after a short, couple-minute break while we try and get the players set up.